Hey everyone, welcome back to the Big Bear and Little Bear channel. Today we are going to be playing some Puyo Puyo Tetris 2. We're going to be doing an 8-player tournament, and yeah, I hope you enjoy.
Little Bear here. I'm player 1. I always play as O, and I always play Tetris.
Big Bear playing player 2. You have to select my character for me. I'm going to play squares with Puyo.
Right choice.
Alright.
So we're doing an 8-player tournament here. I'm gonna go ahead and turn on that hard drop for Big Bear. Alright, now make everything random.
Ooh, we're playing against each other in the first round. Oh boy.
Okay, gotta make things interesting.
Alright, yeah, we don't want the, the two human players to be out immediately. Looks like I'm playing against a witch. So our first round we have Ringo versus, I think her name's Rulu? I cannot remember that CPU's name now.
But we all know that Ringo is the absolute best at Tetris. So
Yes,
she
Ringo.
definitely win.
Ringo is the best character in this game. She is the superior player. As you can see here, though, the time it took her to get 4 blocks down, Rulu's got about 40% of her screen full. I don't know about you, Little Bear, but I think this one, honestly, is going to be a complete wash. If I remember correctly, she's one of the hardest CPUs.
Yeah, and that means that whoever faces her is going to lose, essentially.
No, we'll see. Stranger things have happened. Alright. Looks like she starts with the first attack. It gives a couple lines over to Ringo. Ringo's got to hold on a little bit till she gets a straight line, but she defends at least something, but no, that's instant death. Alright, well, the first round of the tournament is done there. Now we're in round 2, match point. It is first win to win 2 matches. So as we can see here, Ringo is doing her patented think about whatever she's going to put down for about 40 seconds before she actually drops it. And Rulu is dropping down Puyo's like nobody's business. I swear, Little Bear, sometimes the CPUs in this game are just not fair.
Especially in Puyo. I feel like Tetris is a lot more fair than Puyo is.
It's crazy when she starts to, like, get in a groove and she starts to get high, it's like her CPU just panics and it just starts dropping stuff at insane speeds. Alright, there's another one.
This looks like instant death for poor Ringo here.
Somehow I knew that Ringo wouldn't make it far in this tournament, but honestly I was hoping farther than round 1. That way I could get an easy win later. But yes, this is definitely death for poor Ringo. And Ringo is knocked out of the tournament first.
What a surprise.
Who could have seen that coming? This will probably end up becoming a running joke in videos that Ringo loses first immediately. Alright, on to round 2. I believe, yep, it is going to be Little Bear versus Harpy. I think that CPU's name is.
Okay.
The first round with a human player. So, as you can see, Harpy's going a bit slower as well. I don't believe... I think Ringo is statistically the weakest CPU in the game. But as you can see here, Little Bear's building herself up for a pretty big combo onto her. Holding that long piece as well as building up some of the other ones. Going for the multi-Tetrises to really give Harpy a bigger hit. She was able to defend a little bit, but not enough to get nothing on her, and she effectively has to start from scratch. Meanwhile, Little Bear's already on the attack, getting ready to hit again. Getting some multi-lines. One thing for some of our viewers who may not be used to Puyo, because I know it's not that popular of a game in America at least. The point of Puyo is to have 4 of the same color popped at once, and when you're playing single player, you can do one at a time, but when you're playing against somebody, Puyo, much like Tetris, you want to do more than one line, or in Puyo's case, it's pops at a time. So, as you can see with Harpy there, she just popped one line there, and nothing got sent over to Little Bear. Instead, it was just a little bit of, it just cleared some area on hers. But then, with Little Bear getting that Tetris, it sent over a couple bricks over to her. So that's kind of the point of these battles, is who can get the multi fast, and that will give the most amount of junk, or the technical term is garbage, over to the other person.
Is it really the technical term?
Yeah, it is. For both Puyo and Tetris. There we are. First round goes to Little Bear.
I won, but that round was not pretty. I will be the first to admit that.
No, come on, it's fine. I mean, to be fair, maybe we should have warmed up a little bit, but these are our first games on. Let's see. With going for a Tetris, got an interesting leftovers from that. Harpy seems to be building herself up a little bit, and one technical term that you might hear us say that isn't really technical in terms of it being in the game, but it's something we kind of came up with. The title of one of our videos is called, like, I was bricked in Puyo. So basically what we call getting bricked is, as you can see that red X over there on Harpy's screen, when that is covered, no matter what, in Puyo you lose. Unless something pops like that. But if Little Bear was to hit her with garbage right now, if a brick, which honestly looking at it would cover that up, then she would lose. So we call that getting bricked, especially when you have other areas around you that you could technically play on. But Little Bear wins her first round, and now she's going to go face against Rulu in her next match.
Well, she got a whole 101 points, so I think that maybe Harpy might be a little bit easier than Ringo.
Really? I always thought Ringo was the easiest. Okay, we have X versus Rafila, I believe.
Neither of us are going to win.
Yeah, I gotta play against X. So one thing about the CPUs in this game, they range in difficulty from so easy you could beat with your eyes closed, to a little bit of a challenge, to you have to be at least kind of competent to beat them, to you have literally no way of winning against them. Honestly, I would probably put X in the you have to be at least a little bit competent to beat them, because I don't think he's impossible to beat.
Especially with Puyo. I think you can get him with Puyo. I feel like with Tetris, I would definitely, if you're at least decent at Tetris, it would be a pretty kind of long battle.
Yeah, and as you can see here with them playing Tetris against each other, Tetris typically tends to be a very defensive game when it comes to the attacks. So when we play, since I am absolutely awful at Tetris, I play Puyo, and Puyo's pretty good at attacks, but Puyo gets overwhelmed really easily when you're playing against somebody who's either really good at Puyo or really good at Tetris. So Tetris is always nice there to kind of mitigate whatever damage the other Puyo player or other Tetris player is doing to you. One thing you can see here is, in the other matches, if you were a eagle-eyed viewer, you might have noticed that there was a green bar to the left of the players' screens. That green bar will fill whenever you get a line in Tetris, and it builds up until you stop getting lines, and then that sends your pieces. What that is built into for the game is to make it easier for a Tetris player to beat a Puyo player, but when you're playing Tetris against Tetris, it isn't there. So that's just kind of like a little thing I wanted to mention on the UI. Alright, yep, X took the first round, not really much of a surprise there. I would put Ralph, I can't remember what her name is. Like, we're, Ralph Phi, I think her name is. Do you remember what her name is? The computer on that go?
Rafina?
Yeah, Rafina, or Rafina or something.
Well, she's decent at, like, getting her own bricks down, but she just can't mitigate the damage.
Yeah, and X honestly is one of those opponents that you have to constantly be on your feet doing something against him. Him and a few other characters are ones that you unlock when completing the story and through a few other ways, and those characters tend to be really hard in difficulty because they're supposed to be endgame characters that you play against. Since we...
Why would you put that like that?
Yeah, sometimes the CPUs give you funny little moments like that. Another thing that's funny is while characters like X and other characters may be really hard to play against, sometimes they end up beating themselves. Like in one of our previous videos we posted, he ended up building himself up.
No! Why would you put that like that? Well, now you're definitely gonna lose. As if you had any chance before.
Yeah, it's just such an onslaught from X that she really just can't do much against him. Alright, dropping down onto another build. It looks like X is gonna, yeah, I was about to say, he needs a long piece there because of where he put his red brick. She's gonna get at least one more line down. I bet she's gonna get that, and then, yeah, here comes another Tetris from X. That may be the killing blow, and it looks like X is gonna move on.
Thank you.
Well, finally, it's time for Big Bear. Who are you facing again?
I think Witch, if I remember correctly.
Then you should be fine.
Yeah, we both got pretty lucky in our first rounds, but the second rounds are going to be a lot harder. So, alright, here we are. I'm playing as Squares, and I'm versing against Witch here. So, alright, let's do this.
You can see how slowly Witch puts down the pieces. As well, where she put that line makes absolutely no sense at all.
Yeah.
It should be an easy win for Big Bear.
I would say she's probably one of the easier NPCs as well. Which, I mean, this is gonna... Luckily, we have the video evidence of us putting them on random, because it looks like we totally stacked these first matches for it to be easy for us.
Well, in a way we kinda did, because I re-randomized everything after the first time, because I didn't want to face you immediately.
Well, okay, but we wanted it to be at least that we were a bigger part of the tournament than one of us being out immediately. And especially looking at some of the other standings with the other computers that are playing at the moment, I can definitely understand why we wanted to have a little bit more from both of us, because I am really, I believe in you, but I am worried about my match against Squares here. Assuming I win, I'm not gonna belittle Witch here and act like she's terrible, but I mean,
even though she is terrible, look at the placement of the last piece.
I'm trying to be nice to her, okay? She's probably a nice lady. I don't know.
At least she cleared that one out.
Alright, I'm definitely more used to playing against NPCs that are a bit harder, so I have the mental state that I need to constantly be at least getting 1 or 2 pops, which is something that really... When you're playing against someone who's a lot easier like this, it can really come back to bite you, because I could probably build up for something bigger than what I actually am doing. But just because I just always want to make sure that I have something in my back pocket, I like to be able to pull that out there. I don't think that sentence I just said made much sense now that I'm thinking about basically what I just said. Yeah. Can you tell it's our first time doing live commentary? Interesting little story here we can bring up. So neither of us...
Definitely dead now.
Yeah, that seems to have finished her off. Actually knocked the board away. To kind of get into a bit of the history here with this game and everything for us, so we actually never had heard of Puyo, or at least I hadn't. I don't know if you had, Little Bear, before we got this game.
No.
Yeah, I never heard of Puyo as a game. I mean, obviously I knew Tetris, because pretty much everybody knew Tetris. it's a very, very popular game. Until, I believe, actually I'd have to fact check myself later on this, but I believe until Minecraft just recently took it over, Tetris was, including all its iterations, Tetris was one of the best-selling games of all time. So it is really popular. But Puyo, basically we were at the mall one day, nearby to where we live, and we walked into a GameStop just because we're both pretty big gamers, as the kids say. And so we like to look around GameStop. I mean, honestly, half the time we don't even buy anything. We just like to look around at all the stuff. And we saw this game that was on sale. And so our Little Bear's mother, who was actually with us, they were visiting us. They wanted, she looked at the game, and she was a big fan of Tetris, and it was only like, I think it was like $5 or something. It was really cheap. So we decided to basically pick that up, and we took it home and we were playing it.
It was for my mom to play, and so while she was visiting, we were playing it over here.
And honestly, Little Bear just fell in love with it, but I have never been a big puzzle game player. So I really wasn't at first that interested in playing it, because honestly, I was like, I have no idea what Puyo is, so I'm just going to play Tetris. And then I remembered how bad I am at Tetris, and I kind of took out any interest in me in the game. But as we were playing a little bit, Little Bear was playing the story mode in the game. There is a story mode. If you guys want to, we could try to do a playthrough of it. It'd be interesting. Well, what happened was we were basically, she was playing the story mode, and she got to one of the Puyo parts, and this was pretty early into us having the game, so neither of us really knew what was going on in Puyo.
Good job, Big Bear.
Thank you. So she asked me if I wanted to give a go at the Puyo, and, you know, I tried it out, and honestly, I thought it was really fun. I thought it was a really good time, so I started playing a bit of Puyo, and we found out you could play with each other on a team together, and that's kind of where our interest in this game came from, was just playing together on the teams, and, you know, we decided, hey, we should make videos on it. And so that's why our first two videos were Puyo related. And
Little Bear here. This is going to be the end of me.
Oh, come on, Little Bear, you can do it. I think the key against beating her is to get her while she's being cocky, like right now. So she doesn't have anything built, and she had to pop early, but that might actually... Okay. I didn't realize that she had a 5-chain waiting to go. So in Puyo, if you're able to get big number chains, I think basically anything 5 and up, effectively, honestly becomes such an insta-kill that there's nothing you can do unless the person you're playing against is so actively attacking. So because Little Bear was able to get a decent pop there, a decent line break, she was able to defend herself against some of the onslaught from Rafulu. Honestly, I need to look up some of these characters' names again. I typically like to pride myself on knowing characters' names and, like, information about them, random stuff like that. But there is so many characters in this game that, honestly, I don't remember all of them off the top of my head, save for the ones that we play.
I guess this time I will try to... Oh my goodness!
Ugh.
I accidentally hit the button.
That was unlucky. At least you're able to get something to work off of it. Meanwhile, Rafulu seems to be doing her typical setup.
I'm gonna be honest.
Is it Rulu? I think it's Rulu.
I don't think it's Rulu.
I swear it was. Oh no, I'm thinking of the other blue-haired girl in this game. The one with the fans. Okay, yeah, that is...
I definitely lost.
That is peace out there.
I told you I was gonna lose. Puyo does really have a big advantage over Tetris. Admittedly, when you play, most of the time, if you're playing Tetris against a Puyo player, you are going to lose, unless the Puyo player actually sucks.
Yeah, and now I'm on against Squares, and I'm gonna try to take what what Little Bear just said not as an insult, because I'm definitely gonna lose against Squares here. And I don't like to think that I suck very much at Puyo, but I'm definitely not as good as he is in terms of his placement. One thing I like to do a lot of the times when I'm playing against CPUs that are harder than the average CPU, and you're going to see this, I preferably don't like to try to go for bigger pops at times, just because a lot of the time you don't have the time to be able to get really anything going. And as you can see there, that green that I needed just got covered. That is one thing that sucks about playing Puyo, is a lot of the time, it might be an actual intentional thing, but I think sometimes that the bricks, when they come down, they purposely try to go in places that are going to bother you. But as you can see here, there's not really much I can do there. And that technically wasn't a really good showing of it, but kind of getting bricked there. I had a few other spaces that I could play, but just because that area got covered, I wasn't able to. I'm going to get an all clear here. All clear bonuses are something in this game that me and Little Bear have a little bit of differing opinions on. For the most part,
they're oftentimes unfair, especially when you're playing Puyo. The odds of you getting an all clear at the beginning are actually pretty high.
Yeah, because as long as you can just get the same colors. Compared to Tetris, it's a lot harder to get them. It was a bad... I know we keep getting bad examples of what I'm trying to talk about, but kind of a bad example of it there because of the... X got a Tetris right when I hit him with my all clear, but all clear bonuses give you a massive amount of bricks towards the other person. So usually it can kind of sometimes almost end a game immediately, which is one thing that is kind of sucky about it happening very easily in Puyo. Is the fact that since it can happen so early in a game, it can almost immediately end the game, and the Tetris sometimes really just cannot do anything about it. They just get hit by it, and then they kind of just have to put their controller down and just say GG, because it is the end. Getting more on topic to this match here, as you can see, I am slowly getting built up to the point where I am honestly just not... I don't think I'm going to be able to end up beating him, just because of how often I'm getting hit. And this is one thing I can say, one thing that goes to my point of Puyo getting really overwhelmed sometimes. To get the real big damage in Puyo, you have to hit them with multi-pops, but when you're in a situation like this, where you're constantly having to go for small things just to get rid of some of the garbage around you, that you really can't go for the bigger stuff. Which is one thing that I would say makes it fair between the two, because of how easy it is to beat a Tetris when you're playing Puyo. I have some things that I'm trying to bring down. I keep trying to build myself up to be able to do something big, but it just keeps getting covered constantly. Which is a little unfortunate. I would like to be able to last a little bit, but sometimes when Puyo works, it really works like that, where you can just win the round.
And that kind of brings me to my point that's like, once you get built up, you can really get a lot of pops, and it's just like an instant kill for a Tetris, which is why I was trying to say earlier, Puyo and Tetris together when you're on a team really, really works. Because Puyo kind of acts as that big kind of offensive pop. Like, you're the one that actually kills the other opponent. While Tetris kind of acts like that defense, where if you're constantly hitting, you're constantly keeping the other players from sending you blocks, which in turn helps the Puyo player actually end up killing them. So, yeah, it's kind of odd to play against Puyo alone when you're the one playing Tetris.
Okay. Yeah, here X is... I think I'm giving the AI too much credit in this game sometimes, but I think it feels like sometimes that the AI gets, like, personally offended that you took a round off of them. So they start to go harder onto the offense and everything. As you can see here, he's definitely pulling a lot more Tetrises than he was earlier. There's another one from him. One thing I can mention about this game, something that I really like, but I don't think Big Bear pays too sorry, Little Bear. I said Big Bear. I don't think Little Bear pays too much attention to, is I really like the little animations and the voice lines that characters say whenever they get, like, hits and stuff. I think it's kind of cool. But yeah, ended up not winning that one, but that's okay. I was happy that I at least took one game off of them.
So Big Bear and Little Bear are out of the...
Yeah, we are out of the running, but now we get to watch two pretty good CPUs play against each other, and funnily enough, we've got, it is Tetris versus Puyo, so we can sit back and see which one wins. Being a Puyo player, my money is on Puyo.
I have to agree, being a Tetris player.
Yeah, I really like Puyo, but I will be the first to say it that honestly, sometimes, like you saw that game I took off of X, it honestly sometimes is really unfair for the Tetris player to deal with some of the stuff that Puyo can hit you with, like that.
And that was almost an insta-kill right there. And there's nothing that he could really do about it.
Part of me wishes that X would beat her in Puyo, so I could be like, oh, well, you know, he's just so good against playing against Puyo, but this is beyond dead. Yeah, he's destroyed there. Alright, well, honestly, any bets on the last round? Because I feel like she is going to completely beat him on this next one here.
Yeah, I have to agree with you.
Also, I know that it's pretty late into the video here, but little apologies in case the microphone quality isn't the greatest. We are trying to figure out the way that we're going to do our setup here, and this is our first time testing it out like this. But yeah, I still hope you guys enjoy the video. Actually, it looks like X is getting something cooking here, but the woman with no name was able to just hit back and completely beat him. So it looks like she beat X and won the tournament. I have no idea what her name is still.
CPU2.
Yeah, I guess CPU2 was too strong for you. Haha, that was a funny rhyme. We'll at least see what her name is here. No, she's still CPU2. Okay. Well, that was our first Puyo Puyo Tetris 2 tournament. I hope you guys enjoyed.
I have to figure out what it is now.
Okay, yeah, we'll get you guys the dying information. So we'll just quickly pull something up here just so we can see what her name is at least. Okay, she is down to the left. Looks like her name was Rafasol.
Rafasol.
Yeah, Rafasol, I guess. I can understand why I didn't remember that.
And Rafina.
Yeah, Rafina,
Isn't that what I was saying earlier?
Yeah, and the girl to the right is Rulu. That's who I was thinking of.
Miss Accord is the hardest.
Yeah,
CPU
she is the strongest.
I'm just glad we didn't get put up against her.
Yeah, that's actually how we found out how strong she was our first tournament. We got her in it. I went up against her and lost immediately. But yeah, well, I hope you guys enjoyed watching. Thanks for watching to the end, and remember to subscribe for more. Bye from Big Bear.
And bye from Little Bear.